Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach in NBA history. He is completely allergic to taking any accountability for his team's failures. Because of this, I have serious doubts that he has what it takes to take the Bucks to the next level.
Yeah, just, the Utah game, you kind of knew, altitude, back-to-back. Whoever scheduled a Dallas, Utah, have never been on an airplane in their life, or no time zones, So that was just a tough one. We knew that. I guarantee you when they looked at that before the year started, they were like, this was going to be a brutal game for us. End of a trip, legs, you can just see it. We've got a lot of injuries right now, so guys are playing more extended minutes. I think that's probably, and you know what? They're playing harder on defense. So it's probably all that.
Accountability is when you know you made a mistake and you're searching for a way to fix it. If someone shows the lack of ability to admit that they failed, it shows that they might not have the capacity to learn from their mistakes. A calling card for professional coaches is taking complete responsibility for the team's failures. A lot of times, the first step is to admit that there is a problem and that you are a part of that problem. But if you don't know that there is a problem, how are you going to fix the problem that everybody is aware of but you? The first time I realized that Doc Rivers was not a good leader is when he threw Ben Simmons under the bus at the worst time.
Doc, do you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
The absolute worst thing that could possibly happen is when your head coach tells the whole world that he doesn't believe in you, shifting the whole blame of this playoff loss on one player. In my opinion, that was a coward move. Deep down in your heart, you can blame Ben Simmons for everything, but that's not the way to do it. You don't alienate him in front of the whole world. That's a poor leader. Then when he realized that Simmons was mad at him, he started backpedaling.
But in the aftermath of the loss to the Atlanta Hawks in Game 7, you were on the record saying at that particular moment in time that you didn't know whether or not he was the point guard of the future for a championship franchise. Joel Embiid was on the record, questioning the play where he passed up the dunk and gave the ball, to Thibault, that played a big role.
But I want to correct that.
Please do.
I want to correct that because I would love you guys to play what I said. Because, and I've told you this before, Stephen A., never said what was reported. The question was asked about Ben. It was the first question after we just lost the Game 7. My answer was, I'm not answering any of that stuff right now, guys. I don't even know how to answer that. That had nothing to do was about Ben. I was basically saying I'm not answering that crap, those questions. And so what disappointed me, and I don't do this media thing very often. You never see me do that.
Right.
It was being portrayed that I was out there saying I don't think we can win with Ben, and I do. I told Ben that the next day. What really disappointed me was the next day I went on and said, guys, I knew exactly what I was talking about. And no one heard it. They just kept running their narrative. So, I've been in sports a long time, and I'm not misrepresented very often, but in that case I was. But it is what it is.
Instead of Doc Rivers taking accountability for what he said and go to Ben and say, look, I apologize. It was in the heat of the moment. I was really upset that we lost the game. I shouldn't have done that, Ben. Instead of this, he handles it in the most Doc Rivers way possible. Just lie about it. Rivers is known for throwing his team under the bus. Maybe it's out there somewhere, but I have never seen Doc Rivers take the it's all on me approach like most other professional coaches. His default is to control the narrative and shift the blame to anybody but himself. The team's lack of effort, poor judgment, lack of control, their minds are in Cabo. Hey Doc, it's your job as the coach to make sure that the team is focused on every single game and their minds are not in Cabo. That's your fault. If their minds are on something else other than basketball, that falls on the head coach. Doc Rivers was a bad choice for the Bucks from the very beginning. He has lost 10 Game 7s in his career, and I bet they were all Ben Simmons' fault. And just before the All-Star break, Doc's Bucks got outplayed by a depleted Memphis Grizzlies team. The Grizzlies are missing every single one of their top players and most of their second string players. The Grizzlies are playing with their third string and 10-day contract players, and they still beat the Bucks.
We come back in this on our set. Two guys forget what we're running. Then we miss a shot, and then nobody gets back. That's how we start out the third quarter. That tells you all you need to know about where our heads were. We had some guys here, and we had some guys in Cabo.
Beware of anyone who avoids accountability. Anyone who turns failures into excuses and points the finger at everybody else instead of themselves is probably someone you should avoid. It's likely that this person will never grow to learn how to fix a problem, but how to make a problem bigger. So what do you think? Am I off or am I on? Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, that's my time. Peace.